Here we have the Deebot Ecovacs N8. Basically, I want to go over a few of the top functions before we get started. It's a powerful 2300 PA suction. That's 50% more suction than the previous models. Has smart chargers in, which is designed to know exactly how much charge is needed to complete the task rather than have to wait for it to fully charge before continuing. Carpet detection for mopping to avoid carpet, and auto boost suction, which turns on the power when it detects carpet. It's also compatible with the Deebot's automatic dustbin. True map laser mapping using LiDAR, and 110 minutes of runtime. In the app, there's a few other features. Some of the basic are multi-floor mapping, virtual boundaries, and no mop zones. We'll go over more of that later. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see. First off, we have mopping pads for the Deebot. These look like reusable pads. And here's a manual. Let's see what else we got here. Not much else in there. Here's the vacuum. And here's the mopping plate and mopping pad, washable mopping pad. And here's the docking station. First off, you want to be sure you take off all the packing material. And here's instructions on how to get connected. Let's see, basically pretty much, let's go to look at the bottom of it real quick. Do this to help protect the LiDAR. This right here is the LiDAR. That's what does all your navigation and mapping. You have these spinning side brushes to fit on. Just pop on. And they're color coded. Red on one side, green on the other. So be sure you get them on the right side. It's very basic in here. This pops off. Easily take out your main brush and clean it. If there's any hair wrapped around it or anything like that. Very simple. Kind of show you here at the bottom. You have the drop sensors here, 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 and here. That keeps it from falling off the stairs or anything like that. Also have the carpet sensor here. Like I said earlier, that's good for mopping, so it won't go on carpet, and also it automatically kicks in the higher suction when it detects carpet. Let's see, here you have a cleaning tool for your brush. It has a knife to be able to cut hair, everything you need to clean your brush. This here is the dustbin. Has a filter inside, also has a foam brush. This brush can be cleaned with water, no problem. There's your UPC code to help connect. On-off button, and this is your set button or reset button to get it started. Okay, another thing I want to go over is the mopping plate. This is the water tank. Basically, just open this up, put water in it. Just put regular water, no detergent or anything like that. The mopping plate fits on here. And once the mopping plate is on there, you insert it. It'll automatically detect that the mopping plate's on it. It'll automatically go into mopping mode. It does that by, there's a little magnet here that it detects. The mopping plate can be sometimes hard to take off. If you just pull forward and tilt, it'll pop off. This mopping plate, it comes off as Velcroed on here. Comes off and then you just wash it. Simple as that. It goes back on the same way. Put it over there, and you're good to go. Let's see. I think I've covered everything. You want to be sure and keep the front end clean. And this is your bumper right here. So when it hits something and bounces, and that'll tell it needs to go back the other direction. I'll be covering this later on in other reviews. If you have any questions, just post a question. I'll be glad to answer it. Docking station is pretty straightforward. You plug it in. You do need to be sure that the plug in the back here, it can look like it's plugged in, but it won't be unless it's pushed all the way in. But that covers the Deebot N8. Again, if you have any questions, just post them. Thank you. Let me show you how to set up your Deebot. First off, underneath the lid, you'll see a red on-off switch. To the right, there's a button under a Wi-Fi symbol. And to the right below that, you'll see a QR code. Simply go into the app, select Add a Robot, then go on the list and select the robot that you have. Click on that. It'll bring you to your Wi-Fi information. And then, now in this, you cannot connect to a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It has to be 2.4 gigahertz. If you're on 5 gigahertz, you need to go into your settings and change it. If you try to click next with the 5 gigahertz, it should bring up a pop-up that directs you to your settings. But once you get to 2.4 gigahertz, click on next. Then you open the lid and you switch on your robot. And click on next, and you'll be waiting for a sound. Once you've heard that sound, click next. And then you go to your settings. And in your Wi-Fi settings, there'll be an Ecovacs. There'll be an Ecovacs Wi-Fi. Select that. And then go back to.
Please go back to the app to continue the setup.
Okay. It takes a little bit to get to this point. Once you get there, your connection is complete. Click done and you should see your Deebot listed. Hope this helps. Thank you. Let's go through your app. First off, down here at the bottom left, you have clean preferences. With that, you can specify whether you want to go through the room once or twice, your vacuum power, and your water flow level when mopping. You can turn this on and click on edit, and you can specify those settings for each room individually. Above that, you have clean sequence, and that you can specify what direction and what rooms you want your vacuum to follow in what order. And up here in the menu, you have advanced mode. Advanced mode is turned off by default. I want to make sure that is on. Advanced mode is where you get a lot of your special functions, and also it's what saves the map. And auto boost suction. This, when it detects carpet, it will turn up your vacuum to the high setting to clean better. Auto empty. If you have an auto dustbin, when it docks, if it's turned on, it'll automatically empty the vacuum dustbin. Scheduling. There's two different types of schedulings. There's auto scheduling and area
scheduling. Auto, that basically does the whole, everything it has access to. Area, you're able to select what rooms you want cleaned for that schedule. Then you have continuous cleaning. The idea on that is if the battery drains, it will go back to the charging dock and charge enough to where it can finish the job and then continue on. Do not disturb, just what it says. If you don't want it going off in the middle of the night when the battery's charged, you set this and it'll wait till the next morning to go off. Clean cloth reminder. On your mopping, if you want to remind it to remind you like in 30 minutes to clean your pad, you can set this on. Restart current map, be careful with that. That basically deletes your map and you have to start all over. You also have additional settings over here. Your clean log, that gives you your history. It can be really nice as far as also it gives you the exact area your vacuum covered. Accessory usage. This here keeps track of the accessories and gives you a recommendation on when it's time for them to be changed. Voice report, you can change your language. You can also change the volume. Help, simply some Q&As and an instruction manual. And also in some countries, you have live chat and send messages for support. About Deebot, it gives you your firmware version. You can change here from meters to feet, your serial number, and some network information. Now something's a little more obscure. Down here at the bottom left, if you click on that, it looks like two pieces of paper and a pencil. It'll bring you to multi-floor map. I highly recommend you turn that on. It's also off by default. This gives you the capability to come in here and save your map. When it first finishes mapping, there'll be a icon there that looks like a disc. You press that to save your map. Now this is the most obscure. If you click on that map, it'll bring you to this screen, which gives you all these options: virtual boundaries, edit areas, and label areas, and also delete your map. And also has this nice little feature where it shows your Wi-Fi coverage on your home. This up at the top here on this main screen, this gives you your messages that your vacuum is sent to you. It gives you a history of everything and which vacuum sent it. Also notifications. This is the reply you get from support. You usually get that through email also. Over here on the top left, you have your share robot and settings. Share robot, you basically, just what it says, share the robot. You can do the same thing by just logging into each app on each device using the same login. Actually, the vacuums with the artificial intelligent camera will not allow you to share the robot. You have to use the same login. And then settings, just your basic regional language and other settings like that.
Now the N8 is fully charged. It's time to start mapping. A few things I want to go over before we start mapping. Be sure advanced mode, continuous cleaning, and multi-floor maps are turned on. For some reason they're turned off by default. You want to make sure they're on. And I highly recommend mapping in quiet mode. However, it's no longer called quiet mode. Now it's just a fan with a line through it. Right here. And make sure the charging dock is in a good location per instructions. Make sure all your doors stay open through the whole mapping and pick up anything you think might interfere with the vacuum. If you're planning on mopping, do not put the charging dock on the carpet. By design, the mop will not travel on the carpet. Try not to interfere with the vacuum while it's mapping. That could screw things up. The mapping will be completed when the vacuum docks in the charger by itself. So just press on auto right here. And then just sit back and wait.